Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the globe. It's our privilege and honor to have with us today Mr. Bob Sheppard. Bob, thank you so much, man. For doing
Arturo,
this.
I'm honored and that you would ask me to come over here.
I'm so happy you say yes because, you know.
Of course.
Not everybody say yes.
Oh, is that right?
No.
That surprises me.
Because you know why? You're not going to make a penny here today.
That's usually the way it is with me.
Thank you so much, man, for accepting to do it.
Thank you for having me. It's my honor and privilege to be here.
Thank you. Man. And I'm so proud that you're part of our big band too. You know, we got a gig in December.
December? Oh, it's going to be a good month.
Yeah, December 22nd. We're going to play in the same gig we did in the Disney Hall.
Oh,
the Christmas show.
Are you going to call me or somebody at one of your?
If you don't go, I'm going to cancel the gig.
No, I'll be there, man. I can't. I'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something that I know Bob Sheppard for a few years, and I hear him live a few times before we met in Europe in all those festivals. You were playing with Freddie, you were playing with Michael Stern and a bunch of different bands and things. And I always said, man, this guy can blow the mean saxophone.
Yeah. Coming from you, man, that's means a lot. It means an awful lot.
And then when I moved here to LA and I saw you all over, you know, everybody want a piece of you, you know, in every band and everything over here in town. And it's a lot of saxophone players in this city.
There are a lot of great ones. Yes.
But you are one of the busiest ones.
Well, I don't know about that, but I've had times where I've been very busy, and other times where I'm just trying to be out playing jazz, and people, you know, it's my career in LA is always a combination of things, studio work and live playing. But then I go out and play music. I didn't realize that was unusual for an LA sort of guy to go on the road and then do studio work. And I was told that was unusual by Chuck DeMonico, this great bass player. Said,
made a combination.
If you're going to do studio work, you better not go on the road. I said, really? Why? Oh. And it's like, so. But anyway, it seemed to work out. I have to play. I have to play jazz. I have to play music. So
you know what? In the way we grew up, in the way we developed our career or something, the direct contact with the audience is our drugs. It's something we need that in our soul. You know what I mean? That kind of contact, the feedback from the audience. That's something. It's a special kind of feeling that we cannot get rid of that.
It is
for any money in the world.
It's very important to play live with real musicians, and
absolutely,
that always was something that I knew I needed to do. And doing studio work, I really enjoy doing all kinds of things. Studio work is very challenging. It can be very challenging, and I love the idea of the craftsmanship and working side by side with such incredible musicians. And I love that. But I also need, my soul needs to play jazz.
Absolutely.
And so I always pay attention to that, you know. And I tell people I built a studio in my garage years ago.
Yeah.
And I said if I didn't have that studio to play with friends and to play jazz, I don't know, I probably would have moved back east,
to somewhere,
back to New York, because that keeps my. It's sort of like my governor. It's like my
energy.
My energy. That's like
gasoline.
If I could do that, then okay, I could do whatever other stuff, you know. But I have to. I have to do that. So
that's great. Yeah, that's great.
And you know the feeling, yeah.
Where you was born?
I was born in Trenton, New Jersey, across the river from Philadelphia suburbs. So I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
What's the name of the town?
Levittown, Pennsylvania.
Levittown?
Yeah, and it's just a suburb of Philadelphia. And
little town.
Levittown.
But it's a little town. Was a little town.
Not a little town. It was Levittown. It was the first post-war pre-planned community where all the houses were the same.
And then it's not a little town.
No, it's not a little town.
It's not like me. Okay, I grew up in the very little village.
Very little village, yeah.
Village,
Yeah.
not town, village.
Anyway, it was where I grew up. Their school systems were very good, and we had band programs from the time we were in elementary school, and it was a very good place to grow up for music because being close to Philadelphia and New York, and there was a lot of musicians and big bands in every school, and the quality, the level of musicianship was high, and so I got a chance to play.
You go to New York a lot.
A lot.
Oh yeah.
Went to hear the Thad Jones Mel Lewis Orchestra
Monday night, and the
2-3 weeks. I was up there. That was a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And then until what year? I mean, how old you were when you moved out of that Levittown?
Well, I was doing gigs all around Philadelphia when I was young. I was always in bands. By the time I was in 11th grade, well, 10th grade actually, I was in a soul band, and we had gigs. I was doing gigs from the time I was in 11th grade, and
you were 11, 12 years old or something?
No, that was 11th grade is what 16.
Oh,
years
16,
old, 17 years old.
Ah, okay.
So I was doing all kinds of stuff in Philly. I was going to school. I had a girlfriend, and I said, "Well, this is okay. This is the way it is." And then
you were 16 and you got a girlfriend?
I no, not that early. I was too afraid.
Don't confuse me.
Too afraid. No, when I went to college.
When you went to college.
Yeah. So then Manny Album. You remember Manny Album, the great arranger?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was a mentor when I was going to school in Glassboro State College back then, and he suggested I should go to Eastman School of Music. They had a new program there for jazz, a master's degree, and that was the best thing I ever did because that got me out of Philadelphia and expanded my world completely. I started doing a more.
Meanwhile, you're still living in Levittown.
No. Then I moved. I moved to Rochester,
to where?
New York. Rochester,
New York.
Eastman School of Music, Rochester, New York.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I met some of the players that I play with here all the time in the studios and etc. I met them there in Rochester. It was a very important move to go there. And
how far is from New York, from Manhattan?
Rochester was a good 4.5 hour drive.
4.5 hours to Manhattan?
Yeah, it was way upstate New York.
Oh man,
near Buffalo.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
No, and but it was a great place to be because the level of musicianship was very, very.
They
high.
used to have a good orchestra there. I mean, the symphony
very
orchestra.
Good. Still
the symphony orchestra.
Day, yeah. I played with Chuck Mangione's big. Remember he did "Taste the Clouds Away,"
orchestra,
and that was a big gig for me. I got a chance to be in that and to play with Jerry Nywood and
I remember the guy who used to play with him, Chris Badala, could be?
Chris Vidala.
Chris
right.
Badala, yeah, I remember.
That's right.
You know what? I remember years ago, in the early 80s, I was in Paris for a while doing a bunch of gigs, and then I stayed there, and I was staying with the guy who was a very, very fine trumpet player, but mainly classical. But he did all kind of recording in Paris, and he also was the first trumpet in the Folie Vigeur, the famous cabaret, there in Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
His name is Dominique Deras, very fine classical trumpet player. He was a student of Maurice André and Pierre Thibault, all those people. And I was staying in his house. And one day he told me something. He said, "Man, I'm dying to go to the US." I said, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? Man, you got the best jobs here in Paris, and you're the guy here in Paris. Why you want to go to the US?" He said, "No, man, no, you don't get it. You don't know what I'm talking about." And then he moved from Paris to Rochester because he won the auction of the audition.
The audition
for the Rochester Symphony Orchestra. And he's still there.
Oh, really?
He's still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good move for me to do. Because,
What came after Rochester?
I was playing gigs around Rochester. I was getting ready to move to New York, like I always planned to do. And
Yes.
one morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, I was in bed, and I get a call from out of the blue from a dean of music in Loyola University in New Orleans. And he said, are you interested in a job, teaching? I said, well, I don't know. It was out of the blue. I was not looking to teach. But do you know Vinnie DiMartino?
The trumpet player?
Yeah,
I know.
He recommended my name to the dean.
In New Orleans?
So next thing I knew, I was going down there and auditioning, and I was living in New Orleans, teaching and playing all over the city. And that was great. I met all kinds of... I did all kinds of great gigs down there. Played with Nat Adderley, and
wow,
it was wow. I can't believe I.
I'm gonna tell you something. Talking about Nat, I always say, I'd say many times, and I even wrote about that. I believe he's been all his life, and even after he passed away, very underrated.
I always thought so too.
I swear to God, because when I hear him playing, I say, man, this guy...
It's all right shit, man.
This guy is on top of the game, you know? I don't know why he don't have the recognition he really earned.
Oh, when I played with Nat, I'll tell you, I was so scared because Cannon died. Cannonball died like, I don't know, a year before. Yeah. And he hadn't been playing much. And he got this little gig at this place in New Orleans, and the piano player got me on it. I can't play with that. I really is kind of.
Why not?
Well, it was because Cannonball was
very
my
nice
hero.
Guy. He was a very nice
guy.
guy.
Just
I met him a couple of times.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, just sweet.
He was from Florida, and he died in Florida, and I think in Tampa or somewhere. Tampa or Fort Lauderdale, I can't remember exactly, but he was born, raised, and he died in Florida.
Yeah, and so that was New Orleans. I said no.
How many years in New Orleans?
I said no. I'm moving to New York. I'm going to save my money, and I'm moving to New York. And 2 years went by, and I said, well, I'm going to plan. I took a leave of absence from teaching. I said I'm going to go. And at the same time, a friend of mine in Rochester, John Seri, who was an amazing composer and piano player and a percussionist. He had a record deal in L.A. and he said, "I want you to come to L.A. to do this record." And that's my first time I was in L.A. and I knew nothing about L.A., nothing about studio work. I knew there were studio musicians, but I went to L.A.
A few.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing along with the television, so I knew that's how I learned how to play. I played along with all the music.
What do you do like this? The flute?
Flute, clarinet. I just play whatever it was. I just played along with whatever I heard on the television. I tell people about jazz. I said, of course I played along with jazz, but I tuned my ear to the television because in my house, exactly, and play jazz over top of the melodies, right? Because in my house, the television was a part of the family. It was always on.
That was Johnny Mandel who wrote that, no?
Yes.
Yeah. That was MASH. No, MASH?
The theme from MASH.
MASH, yeah.
Yeah, which is Autumn Leaves.
Yeah?
Yeah. Keep singing. The first half of it is Autumn Leaves. So I tell my students to this day.
I don't know if Johnny gonna like to hear that. You discovered that.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
That the cat's out of the bag.
He's one of our heroes, man.
The cat's out of the bag.
Okay, later on in a few minutes. Yeah, it's early. We are just beginning. We have here in our team Mr. Dustin Higgin, our sound engineer over there. He's doing, as always, a wonderful job. And then we have our dear friend over here, Tim Lamarca, who's going to take care of the question, because this is live, and then people going to ask questions about the color of your underwear, all kind of things.
I don't wear underwear.
Oh my Lord.
Oh no, I should. Oh.
Oh my goodness, all kind of things, and the people gonna ask questions, and that's gonna be, as always, a lot of fun. And maybe later we're gonna play a little bit.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you might embarrass me. I'm sure you will. But
yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Tenor was the beginning.
No, clarinet.
Clarinet.
Clarinet. I started on the clarinet. Yeah.
In a classical kind of oriented.
All classical. I loved clarinet. My father took me immediately. I wanted to play the drums, and my father was a saxophone clarinet player, part-time guy, and I used to play along with the drums on pillows, along with the records, and then one day he brings home a clarinet, and it's like, oh man, really? But he didn't want to teach me. He immediately took me to a real clarinet teacher.
But be glad you got that intention with the drums, because I'm going to tell you, I always recommend everybody, it doesn't matter what you play, to get familiar.
Yeah.
I got my own practice part there that I got to handle it always. I got it. I don't know, it's supposed to be around here. But good. I put it over here with a couple of takes. I put a metronome. I do that.
I'm sure you always played the way you play timbales.
For years.
Yeah.
Mainly to have that kind of a connection, the order from over here straight to your hand on the right beat, in the right time. You know what I mean? And that give you, that's my way of thinking, that give you a better concept and a more strong concept of a tempo, when
I
you
always
play.
think of when some of my favorite saxophone players, they like Michael Brecker, Dave Liebman.
He played the drums.
They sit down and play the drums and say it sound like Elvin Jones. And it's like,
You know what? I brought Michael, when I was teaching in Florida, I brought him to school a couple of times. And one night in the concert, before I asked him to say, Mike, please do me a favor, man. Let's play a little trio. I play the piano and then Dennis played the bass and I played the drums. And we have so much fun, man, because he really sounded like he wasn't like he wasn't body rich, but
it's in his DNA. What that sounds
swing, man, the swing, he sound like it.
Oh man, and Jerry Bergonzi. Oh my God,
he played drums too.
Oh, he play drums.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Liebman. There's so many. I mean, but it's not like they practice the drums. It's just they listen. It's in their musical core, and then they play. When the most fun I ever have, and I haven't done it in a long time, is putting on the headphones. I have a beautiful set of Gretsch drums, and I try to play along with Elvin
with
Jones.
the recordings.
Yeah, it's the most fun. Absolutely, hands down, the most fun.
Wow, man, that's cool.
But I haven't done it in a long time. I really.
Okay, and then clarinet, classical.
Classical.
For how long?
For all through college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So far, no sax, no jazz.
No. Because always, my father said, "Did you practice the clarinet today?" And I always had lessons, and but 7th grade, middle school, there was a jazz band, and my father got me an alto saxophone, and that was the beginning of playing saxophone. But for clarinet, guys that play the clarinet first, the saxophone comes very easy.
It is?
Yeah. It's
wow.
The clarinet is much more difficult, so it's harder to reverse that.
I guess I don't know because I never tried, but
so it's very good that I did the clarinet.
Start on
first.
the clarinet.
Yeah, and I love the clarinet. So when people call me to play the clarinet, I said, sure, I love it. A lot of saxophone players that pick up the clarinet when they're 20 years old and they know they need to play it because of the big band charts or whatever. It's very frustrating for them because
I saw a bunch of sax players that they don't like to play the clarinet.
They don't like it. It's hard. It'll kill you.
I met a lot of them. A lot of them. I don't want to mention any names.
The mystery stick.
I know. I know a lot of them. I say, oh man, I don't want that thing. No. But it all depends, Some people play the clarinet sounds so acid, so ugly.
Well, you have a picture. Eddie Daniels is here somewhere.
Oh
there
man,
he is.
right there, man.
Yeah, he was my hero because he had the classical.
He was or no anymore? No.
Oh, Eddie, I'm sorry. No, Eddie will always be my hero because
he is my hero too, man.
It's beyond belief.
Oh my goodness! But the sweetness of the tone, the sound. That's what I really gave my heart. I'm gonna tell you the story with Eddie because we played many times together. Actually with the GRP All Star thing, we did a tour, we went to Japan. Okay, but beside that, he played a couple of my records. He's a wonderful guy, and one day we were in the recording with the GRP big band with B.B. King, and Chick Corea was in the piano. Was a bunch of people. Michael was in that record too, and then I was in the corner. Everybody was warming up, very noisy, and then I was in the corner there. Let me tell you, I was in the corner. Doing my long tone, but very, very soft, very soft. And then he was standing there. I see him with the corner of my eye. He was watching me. I think we never met before. And then he was watching that, and he said something to me. He said, "Wow, are you doing long tone?" I said, "Yes, I do that every day." And he said, "Oh, because not many people got the desire anymore to do the long tone."
Well, it's not that much fun.
It is not.
No.
But it's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
Here's my Eddie Daniels lick. This is his Eddie Daniels patented lick. I learned that one like right off.
Oh my goodness!
That's actually a Joe Henderson.
And he's amazing, man. But the sound. But at that time, he wasn't your hero. When you start with the clarinet, that was Benny Goodman, Artie Shaw.
When I started playing the clarinet, I was not familiar with a lot of clarinet players other than Benny Goodman, of course, and
Artie Shaw,
of course, and Buddy DeFrancesco.
Buddy DeFrancesco, yeah, that's another one. That's another one.
And just the normal guys that were really great down the scene. But when I heard Eddie Daniels, that was not too long. I mean, with that Mel, I used to go to the Vanguard and hear Eddie
Monday night,
and then that's the first time I heard Eddie play the saxophone. He wasn't playing the clarinet because he wanted to, but Thad didn't want him to play the clarinet. And the famous recording.
No kidding.
Little Pixie. So Little Pixie? When he picks up the clarinet, it was all saxophones trading, and he picks up the clarinet. Thad didn't want him to do that, but he did it anyway. And it's such a classic solo. And it's just.
And Thad, what he said afterwards.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thad was a very sweet guy. I met him, and I played with him a couple of times. And he was a very nice man.
He seemed like just a warm, big heart.
Beautiful man. Fortunately, I never met. I played a few times with Han Jones, but I never met Elvin. I was a three brother,
I saw him play so many times, but I was afraid.
Guys, we're talking about three brothers, crazy, unbelievable musician. Elvin Jones, Thad Jones, and Han Jones.
Should we be looking at that? Or looking at each other?
That's okay. The people know it's a conversation, it's informal conversation, and they are participating, just be part of it.
It's hard for me to look at myself.
It's not like a kind of, I don't want to look at myself either.
It's a little rough.
Yeah, and also another three brothers, incredible. There's the Heath's brother too, Percy Heath. Jimmy Heath
brothers.
And Tootie Heath.
I just played a thing.
Wow.
Jimmy Heath was featured in it. He's playing great.
He's like 90 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And he's still blowing, man?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
My heroes.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I hope.
Okay, we stopped already in New Orleans.
Okay, so I came to LA to do
From New Orleans?
From New Orleans to do a record. And then I ended up staying to hang out, just to see the city, and
that's it. You stay.
And then I go, maybe this is the place, right? Because I could tell things were happening here.
Yeah.
Right? And I ended up packing up my stuff and in a trailer
for good
with my Honda Civic and moving to Los Angeles.
What year was that?
1980.
80?
Yeah.
And you're living here for 36 years?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
36 years.
And
wow.
It's been just incredible pathway.
You were a little baby when you get here.
I had hair. I had a lot of hair. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your first studio gig here, you remember which one?
They were small ones at first, just horn section in small studios. Most musicians, when they moved to LA at that time, they always went to the musicians union, and there were big bands all day long, and they always needed rehearsal bands.
Wow!
And somehow I got a chance to rehearse with Toshiko Akiyoshi, Luther Bakken Big Band. They needed a player. And that was one of the reasons why I stayed, because, wow, this is cool.
And they offer you a gig.
Yeah, I started playing second alto at first, and Dan Higgins and myself. Dan was playing lead, and I was playing second alto.
With Toshiko?
With Toshiko, yeah, it was way back.
I didn't know that.
That was my first trip to Europe, actually, with Toshiko.
Toshiko Akiyoshi and Luther Bakken.
And then and I started doing Bill Waters' big band, Refuge West, and then I was doing, there were so many bands. Bob Florence big band. I did Bill Holman's band for a short time. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I was like,
I'm so sorry, man. And now you're playing my big band. Oh, that's a downgrade, man. You did a downgrade.
Not at all. No, but so many big bands. So because of that, I met many musicians in a big band. And I started getting recommendations to do this, do that. And I remember one of the first big sessions I did, and I don't know how I got on it, was at Universal Studios. And
Movie day?
It was television
day.
And I was sitting next to Bob Cooper, great tenor player.
Of course.
And down at the end of
he was an icon of a studio over here for so many years.
And Pete Chrisley. And these guys were on these famous records that I had, right?
Of course.
And Jack Nimitz, a fantastic baritone player, low-end player. And I was going, wow, what am I doing here? It's like, I didn't know, I couldn't believe it.
You belong to that group.
Good things started happening for me.
You belong, and you
were
there for a reason, because you earn it.
You know, yes. I tell young players now, you never know who you're going to meet and what door is going to open. And I said, well, this is cool. I love this. This is so. LA became.
It's only one thing you need: be prepared.
That's right.
For when that opportunity appears in front of you. That's the only thing I always recommend to everyone.
Yeah.
Be ready, guys. You never know when that's going to happen. That could be tonight. You can have a phone call for a special gig as a sub for someone in something important, and if you are not ready, you're not gonna do your best job. But if you're ready, you're gonna give a good. You're gonna make good reputation, because you're gonna make a good impression in everyone around you. And this is a small world. Everybody start talking right away. Hey, you hear that guy, Sheppard? Man, he moved from Northern. Man, that guy can play. Man, yeah. That go around so fast.
Well, and especially
when you play good. When you play bad, it's even faster.
Even faster. That's the honest truth.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We have to be careful, you know.
You're only as good as the last gig you played.
You bet.
You know. But I mean, it was at that time there was a lot of work. There was so much work going on, and a young player like me could come in town, and I knew how to work with people. I knew how to fit into the team. You know, I wanted to make everyone sound good. That's the key to working in the music business.
In session, especially in session.
Especially because it's not about you. It's about making the whole thing sound.
It's about the music.
It's about music.
It's about
and
music.
I always loved that. I always loved
the winner
blend.
have to be the music.
That's right.
If the music win, everybody win.
That's exactly right. And so LA was this place that for me turned out to be wow. I could play my music and all kinds of different things. I was doing many different things, and I didn't know anything about LA, but it was a very nurturing environment where there was and then soon on I met Billy Childs, this great
the pianist.
He heard me play, and Freddie Hubbard needed a tenor player, and Freddie Hubbard, I don't know, he won't want me, you know. It's like, but I went to play. I went to sit in with Freddie Hubbard.
Like an audition or something, no?
It was a gig at this place called the Parisian Room. It's no longer there.
Here in town.
Here in town. And I showed up, and I got on stage with Freddie Hubbard, and I was scared to death. And I started playing, and he called some tunes,
and when he hears something that he really don't like it, he wasn't nice. I remember that. I saw him many times looking at people but like a strong, weird look to people who doesn't sound good. And then he used to do like this. I remember because I hung with him a few times, and he do like this. You remember that? I swear to God, man, he had something weird. Some people playing something like it doesn't belong to the choir or whatever.
He could not hide his.
No, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. And do like.
And I was just sitting in.
You survived.
And the next thing you know, I get a call from his manager for a gig. And he never said I was hired, ever. But I kept getting calls. And I did that gig over...
Because
it wasn't
you're still improvisation.
The reason he knew, because like me, I think, is because, first of all, I knew how to stay out of his way. And when it came time to play, I did my thing. And his favorite tenor player was Joe Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
And so I listened my whole life to Joe Henderson. So he heard that I had
the influence of Joe.
The influence of Joe.
That's great.
And he heard that. So I think, I never know, but he must have liked my playing because I did it for so long.
How long you stay with him?
Well, it was never a steady gig. He had a band in New York. He had a band. But anything west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, you did it.
I did it, and that was 7 years.
7 years.
Maybe 8 years.
Wow.
And
you hear that, guys? We're talking about the great late Freddie Hubbard. Freddie Hubbard.
Did I learn? That was my best. I tell people that was my best teacher.
Man, he was a great musician. Besides to be an incredible trumpet player, he was very musical.
Oh,
he was a very good musician, a strong concept of rhythm,
natural.
the control, man, the fingering, he got a flying finger, you know.
It was very intimidating. I don't know anybody that got on stage.
Intensity, you know, the intensity.
He was, man, when I had to follow Freddie Hubbard, I was like, oh my God, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to survive this. It was all survival.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot. Of
course, man, of course.
It taught me everything, actually.
You know, the learning, I mean, in our career, is an endless learning process.
That's right.
And it's up to us if you want to keep improving and getting a little better and learn and incorporate new things. It's always room for new things. And you never know from who or how or when or where you could learn something.
Every day.
Every day. But you have to be open like a sponge.
I had a student come in a few weeks ago, and he played something, and I go, oh, hey, that was nice. What was that? Oh, and I wrote it down. And so it was a nice...
That was a young guy.
Pattern. Oh, yeah. You know, it just, you never know when a little piece of inspiration will happen. It was this lick. It was this.
Okay. Let me see.
Oh, no. wasn't from him. That was one I got from Bob Minster. So I said, "Oh, that was neat." So it was.
How old is this baby?
1954.
54?
Yeah.
Wow. That's what they call a Mars 6 or no?
Mark 6.
Mars 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I have too many of these. I have to.
This?
Yeah. I have too many right now.
No kidding.
Yeah. So.
Wow. This is very rare now to find one, no?
Oh yeah. They're in all kinds of different state of condition, but.
Yeah, you bet.
But this one's a nice one.
You like it. Yeah. You like it. Let's play a little something there for the people. Hey, Dawson. Now you're gonna kill this thing, no? Yeah.
I don't know why I played that tune, but I saw him.
Wow. I forget the name of that.
Groovin' High.
Grooving High.
Whispering.
Grooving High. Oh my goodness. You know that in those years, I noticed that they use Dizzy, Charlie Parker, Tad Dameron, all those people, they use other themes, other things. For example, I think the Hot House came from.
What is this thing called? Well, because the history of it is because there was the Void of Publishing. Those are the tunes everyone loved to play, but the Void of Publishing, you had to write a new melody on the same. All the tunes we loved.
What about Donna Lee? They get from
that's from Indiana.
Back to Indiana, no?
Back home in Indiana. Yeah.
Let's play a little bit of Donna Lee.
Okay, I know it on the alto with the head, but we'll play
Come on!
I never played the head on that.
The first note is A.
Yeah.
Okay. From there on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I'm going home and working it out on tenor. I used to know it. It's one of those tunes. One of the first tunes I learned.
But it sounds good on fourth, you know.
I should have. Yeah, I just should have maintained playing it on
playing it
the alto. That would have been okay.
That would gonna be hip. Okay, I would like to talk about. Yeah, we have another. We are halfway through now. Man, I don't know what's going on here, but the AC doesn't work. You know,
that's good.
I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a little hot
martini.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, my vodka over here. I would like to talk a little bit about doubling. I mean, when you go to studio here, or you have a big band gig, or any kind of things, you have to bring your tenor, your clarinet, your flute, and what else? Alto flute.
Well, it could be soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, or clarinet, bass clarinet, or flutes. You could piccolo flute, alto flute, bass flute. So,
and you have to maintain your chops in all those tools, no?
Well, if you maintain your flute chops, all the other ones will be good. Well, piccolo is in a sort of different category.
Flute is
that's for all of us. For all of us, that's the one. We have to pay attention.
Can you play something on the flute for us, please?
Sure. But the flute,
whatever you want to play.
You know, the flute is the one where we have to really
take care of. Beautiful sound, man. Wow.
Oh, I tried.
Sound like a classical sound, and you know.
Well, it's always up and down, depending on the gigs.
Do you remember Jean-Pierre Rampal?
Oh, of course, man.
Ooh, that guy was something, eh?
Oh, man.
I've got about Galway, no?
James Galway.
Galway,
yeah. He's still living.
He's good, eh?
I would say so.
Oh yeah, man! But I remember Rampart. I met him in Paris.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because he was a very good friend of Maurice Andre, and Maurice was a dear friend, you know. And we hung several times. And I spent one time. I spent a week in his house, and we played duet every morning. with the Saint-Jacon book, one of those French old
that
books.
must have been amazing.
Oh man, yeah. And then one day he introduced me to Rampal because we went to a meeting and I went with him, you know, and the Selmer was something and then Rampal was there and man, I couldn't believe it. I'm talking about that was late 70s.
Did he play? Did you play?
No. I just met him.
He had this amazing sound that his vibrato was very distinctive. A very part of the sound. His vibrato was like part of the sound.
France have a kind of tradition with the good flute players, no?
Oh,
in general?
Sure. Yeah. A school of thought.
A school of thought, yeah. I was a trumpet too, Maurice and Pierre Thibault, all those great people from there. And yes, let me hear something in clarinet, please. Play something in the clarinet.
Am I auditioning?
Yes, sort of.
I hope I can still do the gig in December.
Sort of. No, I'm doing that with the reason, you know. A bunch of people are watching there. Beautiful, man. Beautiful sound, man.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
Oh,
Likewise.
you know what? To produce a good sound on the tenor, and the clarinet, and the flute, you are challenging three different babies there. That you need to take care of three different boys.
You know what the key to it is? The key to it is you have to actually like the instrument.
Oh yeah.
Really love the instrument. A lot of guys, some guys pick them up because it's necessary to learn them, to work more, but they don't really like them. So if you don't like an instrument, you're not going to really spend enough time on it to really get together.
Right,
you have to love the instrument. When I was at Eastman, I started studying the oboe, and I said, man, this is.
You didn't like it?
I have too much respect for the instrument right? I didn't want to be a person that says, that guy.
I don't know why, but I remember for years, those people are struggling with the reeds.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we lost the connection for a minute. But we are back.
It was the curse words. They
I don't know. But yeah, we still have another 50 minutes. No, I'm sorry, 40 minutes. Yeah, it's 90 minutes.
It's 90 minutes.
It's 90 minutes, man. Believe me. Yeah, it's unbelievable. 90 minutes is a long time. But you know what? I know it's a lot of more things you have to, you would like to share with us your experience of playing with different musicians and different sessions. And besides Joe Henderson, talk to me about other people you listen to and you share things and you.
I have a very eclectic blend of inspirations, but you know, obviously, for me, it was John Coltrane on the tenor saxophone, Sonny Rollins, Joe Henderson, and of course the guys like post-trained guys like Michael Brecker and Jerry Bergonzi and Bob Berg, and there's guys like guys that are sort of love Bob Malik. I love a guy like I love Stan Getz. I love Wayne Shorter. You know, on the tenor, there's
Stan Getz was special, man. What a musician!
Man.
What a musician! A lot of people doesn't know how heavy bebop player he was.
No, he's
I'm gonna tell you,
incredible.
It's a record I listen every 2 days for the last 30 years of him and Dizzy. Man, they start doing trading there, but real bebop, very fast bebop. And man, Stan Getz was right there.
Oh, totally.
Unbelievable. Totally. He was a combination of Charlie Parker with. I'm sorry, you didn't mention one guy there that. You ever hear that album that Dizzy did with Sonny Rollins and Sonny Stick?
Sonny Stitt. I was.
Watch out, Sonny Stick, man.
No, Sonny Stitt was.
He was on.
Absolutely.
When those guys were on their primes, Sonny Stick was on top of the game.
Unbelievable.
Man. Unbelievable. And he played
and Dexter
altitude.
Gordon, you know.
Dexter Gordon too. Yeah.
And you know, there was a lot there. Hank Mobley, I love Hank Mobley.
And then on the alto,
George Coleman, I learned a lot from George Coleman from the Miles Davis days.
You
know,
and what about on the
alto? My first
Cannonball,
But my first guy on alto, believe it or not, was Bud Shank. Because I heard a record
that was like they call it cool jazz, you know, the West Coast.
Yeah, it was a West
cool
Coast
jazz
thing, but I loved his playing because there was a guy that I took some lessons with in Philadelphia who sounded like Bud Shank. So he gave me some Bud Shank records, and I loved it. And I loved Paul Desmond so much,
hand down.
But then I heard Phil Woods.
Phil Woods,
and then I learned a lot of licks from Phil Woods, and then Cannonball
is on top of the list.
He became
obsessed. I personally, I am not a big fan of the alto sound. I really prefer the tenor, the sound of the tenor, especially the blend with the trumpet and the tenor. I prefer to play with the tenor. But you mentioned almost all of them. I remember
Ben Bird, of course.
Charlie Parker to start with, and then Cannonball, and then. Hodges. Johnny Hodges. Oh my goodness. That guy there in the photo, Benny Carter.
Oh, of course.
Oh, Benny was songy, man. And also he played the trumpet. He was one of the few.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Benny Carter played alto saxophone, clarinet, and trumpet. Like Mario Bausa, the guy that showed you the photo, he was the principal clarinet in the symphony orchestra in Cuba when he moved to New York. And then he was starving in New York. He was walking in the street, and he found a Cuban singer, and they started talking. Mario, how you doing? And, that guy was kind of famous at that time. I'm talking about late 20s, early 30s. And I said, you know, man, I'm starving. I don't have no job, and I am about to eat my clarinet. And he said, I got a job for you next week. I'm going to do a recording and I need a trumpet player. I said, man, come on. I play clarinet. You know what the guy replied? Are you hungry or what? He said, okay. The guy said, this is a true story.
Wow.
Come with me. And then he brought him to the pawn shop and he bought a trumpet for him. He went home for a week and he figured it out and he did the recording. But not only that, one or 2 years later, Mario became the lead trumpet player in the U.S.
That's an amazing
That guy,
story.
I swear to God, he was the lead trumpet player with Chick Webb, with Cat Calloway, with Fletcher Henderson, and later on with Machito Orchestra in New York. Because he was the husband of Machito's sister, Stella, Machito's sister, and he put together the Machito Orchestra. That was when he left Cat Calloway. He left Dizzy on his job there to do his job in Cat Calloway.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. But man, that's a true story. He never played clarinet again. He became a trumpet player.
He was meant to do it.
Unbelievable.
The other alto player that I cannot forget to mention that had a huge influence on me was Jerry Dodgen.
Jerry Dodgen in New York. Yeah.
Oh man, I loved his
his
sound and his musical sensibilities.
I
love Jerry.
Jerry Dodgen.
Because I heard him a lot live with that Mel, and there was something very special about Jerry.
Yeah.
And it's still.
What
still
about
very
Jerome
special.
Richardson? He used to play the alto.
Loved Jerome. I love his lead out playing.
He played with Taillon, no?
Yeah,
he was
guy.
the lead.
He was the lead guy.
He was the lead guy. Yeah.
I was just listening on YouTube to some old Thad Jones, and that section was so beautiful, man.
Okay, now we're gonna start to answer some questions because you have some question there.
I have some questions for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
First one, Irene's been waiting a long time, but I'll get to that one in just a second. First, I had a question from Nick Mondella. Was wondering what insights you might have picked up from SIP.
From SIP.
From SIP.
Cipriano?
Cipriano, Gene, yeah.
Gene Cipriano is a hero of mine and a lot of our a colleague. He's one of the most recorded musicians in the world.
Unbelievable.
He has recorded with Miles Davis all the way to hundreds and hundreds of movies, and he's just a real inspiration. But for me, working with Sip it's always a pleasure because he is a joy. His soul is a joy, and
he reminds me Yuan. That kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And he embraces the day and life. And
he's a guy who made you feel good around him.
Everybody feel good. And I think there's musicians can learn a lot from that attitude.
I say all is cool.
It's just like, hey man, we get a chance to do this, and we're having
a great time.
And be grateful.
And be happy.
Sip taught me about gratefulness more than anybody. And
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's great.
We love Sip.
Yeah, man. Another question, Tim?
Yeah, we got a couple. Irene was asking when you moved to Buffalo, New York. When you moved to New York.
Rochester, yeah.
Rochester. And also, have you directed your own big band? That was Irene Torres.
Directed my own big band? Mm-hmm. I never wanted to do that, actually, but I've certainly directed.
Believe me, you don't want to.
I know. That's a whole nether world. But I certainly direct big bands when I go out to do clinics, like you do. But to have my own big band, it probably is not going to happen. I really enjoy playing in great big band, though. It's
a better kind of job. Just go and blow your thing.
And also, we've got a question from Ed Watts. He's wondering how you approach improvising.
How do I approach improvising? That's a big topic. Wow. That's changed over the years because when you're young and you're trying to learn how to play jazz, you are approaching it more from a technical point of view, because that's just sort of how the progression. And now when I play jazz, I try to not have anything in my head actually before I play. I try to just react to the situation and try to play something that's musical and that's spontaneous and not try to fill my head with things, preconceptions. So that's my main goal now that I've lived this long, is to not have preconceptions and just to try to react.
I like that.
Moment.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because there you're about to.
Disconnect you.
You're about to disconnect my microphone, and then we're gonna be in trouble. Okay, another question, Tim.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking at another question we had here. Ariel was asking about your Max Sax mouthpiece. If there's any, he doesn't give me a specific thing. He's wondering if you have anything you'd like to say about the mouthpiece you're playing for your tenor.
Oh well, I'm glad you asked the question.
Who made that?
I have a signature mouthpiece line that I never expected.
Has your name on it?
Yeah, Bob Sheppard signature. And it's produced by a company called Max Sax, and it's made by an amazing maker, mouthpiece craftsman. His name is Eric Falcon. And
oh yeah, I know him.
Did you
meet?
He
played the alto.
Oh, he played with you.
He played with me in
Miami.
In Miami.
Yeah,
yes.
he went to U of M.
UM, yeah. I remember him.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
Very great.
He used to be
big guy.
4x4.
And another, a Cuban American guy, a Jewish Cuban American dude.
That's Falcon?
That's Eric, yeah.
Oh, unbelievable.
I met him at the Gen convention in New Orleans. This was 6 years ago or something.
Uh-huh.
And we started sending things back and forth.
Yeah.
I sent them some mouthpieces to work on, and I never expected to have my own mouthpieces, but they are my favorite. I said, okay, I will have a mouthpiece line only if I really love it, if I want to play it. You know, so sometimes guys say they put their name on.
Oh yeah, and they never use it.
And they don't use it.
Yeah.
But I said I don't want to do that. I want to love it. I want to be.
I'm with you 150%.
So this mouthpiece.
What material is that? It's plastic?
This is a hard rubber. It's
hard rubber.
This is marbled rubber. This one happens to be marbled, but
it's extremely hard, no? It's hard.
Very hard rubber. Yeah, it's German stock bar rubber, and
wow.
And the design for me.
And where he do that? In Florida?
His shop is in Austin, Texas.
In Texas. Oh
yeah.
I saw him in the last NAMM.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is. I've been to all the mouthpiece guys because I love it. I really enjoy the learning about it. I'm trying to find good music. So I've really been to most of the great mouthpiece guys, and when I met Eric, it was like, oh wow, I want to work with this guy. You know, so I'm very happy with these mouthpieces, and and they're doing well. People really like them.
That's great, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Beautiful. Yeah, the sound on any instrumentalist. If your voice is your identity,
that's right.
It's something that really speak for yourself, you know, and that should be our first priority.
The sound is everything.
Our first priority. Absolutely. I swear, God, man, that's the only thing I always thought about when I practice. That's my first priority: the sound, the quality of the sound.
That's why you're great. The great players, it's all about the sound. It's like and you can talk about technique and doing it, but if it doesn't sound
sound pretty,
no one wants to hear it.
You don't get my heart. You can make trillion of notes and high and low or back and forward, whatever.
Yeah.
But if the sound don't speak to me and don't say pretty things, and you cannot play a melody with a lot of beautiful, like Yuan or one of those things, you know. And just to be able to get a beautiful sound on one note, and
that will lead you to the next note and the next note, because the sound. A lot of people, I've thought about this a lot. People that have a lot of technique and they're always scattering all over the place. They don't want to hear their sound. They're always getting away from their sound. They want to fill the space up with notes. But if you love your sound, you will go sit on a note and milk it.
Call him Hawkins.
It's Coleman Hawkins, right?
Oh man, those kind of things. Ben Wester. I love those tenor sound, man. And Dexter too, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember, man, those whoa, press too, you know.
It's evoking a beautiful.
I love that kind of what they call a subtone, no? The
subtone, yeah.
Give me one of those, please, man, because I love the sound.
Like I tell my students or anyone wanting to play saxophone, you have to be able to play loose
subtone
to get because the reed is the sound. If the reed doesn't vibrate, right? Mm-hmm. So if you play too tight. Right, that you cut off the very thing that makes it sound. Be careful!
Don't break the reed, please. Don't break it. You scare me.
So So
for me, that's the sound of jazz.
So like be able to let the reed vibrate.
Let's play a little bit with that in that mode of body and soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful.
Sorry about the coffee.
That's okay, man. That's okay.
I shouldn't have ate those peanuts before I got in there.
No, you know what you should do? Got an espresso and a smoked stogie, and
That's
then
what I was
you
expecting to come over to
You
your
get
house, man,
you
to have
get rid
espresso.
of that with an espresso and a stogie, and then you'll be.
A glass of water, man. I was expecting some nice cognac.
Oh no 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 now. No,
No, a little. 5 o'clock soon.
Oh, we still have 20 minutes. That's
20
great.
minutes. Oh my
More
God.
questions?
Questions?
Yeah, more
Go ahead.
questions. Yes.
Go ahead.
Irene again has some great questions. He's asking about any of new up and coming younger saxophone players. Anybody in particular that you admire?
Oh, there's so many. There's a young guy I really love called Tivan Pendegat. Oh man, is this guy good? He's
Where is it?
crazy.
Out in New York somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a really great player in New York, Lucas Pino.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Italiano?
He's American, but I think he's got an Italian name.
That name is Italiano.
Very Italian. There's a lot. There's so many young players coming up, and there's just I'm always. When I go to, that's one of the main reasons I love to go to New York is to go to Smalls and hear some young players play that'll just mind-boggling. It's like, what are they playing? It's like I feel like the guys in the swing era when Charlie Parker came along. It's like, what is he playing? Like there's young guys that are playing so differently.
Like Dizzy, like Dizzy.
There's an alto player. He's not that young, but one of my favorite players is Will Vinson, an alto player.
Yeah.
I think he's.
Antonio?
Dave
Antonio
Hart. I know Antonio. Yeah, he's great. There's a wealth. That's beautiful.
You know what? I remember that this is a little sad moment, but I must talk about that because otherwise I'm gonna regret. 1 year ago, we were in a cruise together.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Oh, I remember well. We were hanging at the bar. What's the name to Joey?
Yeah, with Joey, DeFrancesco, and a bunch of people. And I remember the late, great Saint Musa. And I'm gonna tell you, it was mentioned those young people. I strongly believe that for me, in my book, Saint was something else.
He had enormous talent.
He was something else.
Yeah.
He's one of the best musicians I ever have the privilege to play with. He was so musical. His concept of rhythm, his concept of the style, he can play any style, man. You know, sometimes I swear to God, I turn around. He played with me for a few years, you know, and then I come around and say, "Hey, give me your Colin Hawkins," in a mic, you know. I mean, in his ear, Saint, give me your Colin Hawkins. Ooh, man, I love it. And then he started to play something so intricate and difficult and demand such an incredible, perfect technique. He was something else.
He was very naturally gifted.
Unbelievable.
I was so sad. I was so
unbelievable.
sad.
And then I remember probably you were the last person who talked to him.
I don't know about the last, but sort of pretty close to.
Pretty close, because
it.
I remember the photo of you two together in the boat, the same we're living. Because he passed away the same day we left the boat.
It was just shocking.
That was
shocking.
Something, and you know, I swear to God, man, that was more than a year ago, and I'm still missing that guy every day in my gigs.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. But it's okay. I'm sorry to bring that.
It was great that you gave an opportunity to play.
Oh man, you know, I'm going to tell you a funny story. When I moved here in LA, I was looking for a sax player for my band because, you know, my band was in Miami and I cannot fly those people every day.
Ed.
Calle was for more than 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
But I need somebody here in town. And then Calito de Puerto, you know, the bass player, he recommended, he said, man, we're going to play tonight in the little club, Joe.
Charlie O's? Charlie O's?
Charlie O's.
Uh-huh.
Charlie O's. They said, we're going to play tonight there. I said, where's that? They said, Studio City, you know, somewhere there?
Yeah.
Okay. I went there, and he was playing the alto. It was like a quintet or something. He was playing the alto. And listened to him. And when they played a couple of tunes, I said, man, this guy is something else. Amazing. But he didn't have any tenor. He didn't play only alto. And then when they finished, they introduced me to him, and then we talked for a while. I said, man, you're incredible there, but I'm looking for a tenor player. I love your playing. I like very much, but I need a tenor because that's a combination I like for my band. You know, I need a tenor player. He said, man, I'm so sorry. I never played a tenor. And I not even own a tenor. I don't have a tenor. And then Mahesh was the piano player in the gig. And Mahesh said, hey, Saint, I got a tenor at home, which is okay. It's not like a Mark 6, but it's okay. I can lend it to you. You can use it as long as you want. And that was it.
That was it. Okay.
That was it.
I didn't know that.
That's the end. The rest.
I always knew him as an alto player. Yeah.
Yeah, he played. That's what he played. He never tried the tenor before.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you have any questions?
Oh, we have some more questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Great people
Go
all
ahead.
over the world. We've had them on the line.
That's beautiful,
Even,
man.
Carlito Fuente, your brother, he's listening. Thank you, Carlito, for everything you do.
Carlito Fuente?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
And thank you, Carlito, for
My brother, you know I love you.
The Institute, the Arturo Sandoval Institute as well. We do have some other questions. If you have any suggestions for young saxophone players, talented, who wants to be, have a long, successful career, anything in particular, any top pointers you can give them?
These are big topics, but
pray in the morning, every morning. Pray.
What I tell young players is to concentrate in the moment on what you're doing, and don't think about what you see on the television, on what you think you're going to be a star. You don't know how your path will lead. You just concentrate on getting as good as you can on your instrument in the moment, and good things will happen. You know, when I meet some young players, they can't really play that well, but they're already thinking about being on the, playing with Christine Aguilar or playing on American Idol or something like that. And I try to suggest, well, you don't know what's going to happen. You have to just concentrate now on playing great and try to find great musicians to study with and to mentor with and to play with great players that are better than you, because that will ultimately make you better.
Inspire
you and hearing the sound and hearing and don't be afraid of criticism. You need to be self-critical. It's very important to have an objective viewpoint about how you fit in to the real world, not some vision in your head that you're already great. So that's very important to know where you are in relationship to where you need to go. Right? Don't believe in, hey man, I'm already there, I'm already great, because not any great musician I've ever met ever thought that.
They don't thought that.
And I know you don't think that.
No.
You're always trying to get better.
Of course.
Anybody good is always trying to get better. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Clark Terry used to say 3 words that really means a lot. He said, imitate, emulate, create. In that
that's
order.
Beautiful. That is.
We started imitating others, and then we get hungry to match your hero. Mm-hmm. And if you can be a little better than your hero, even better. And then later on, you start to speak your own language and use your own things, and
that's right.
And you start and to create your identity as a musician. But first, we have to start imitating.
You have to learn the language.
Of course.
You have to learn the grammar.
Exactly.
You have to learn the grammar. You have to learn the language.
But be careful. Don't become a bad copy of the original, because that doesn't work either.
No one wants to hear that.
As much as I love Dizzy or something, I never ever try to go to a stage and try to mimic 100% Dizzy. Yeah. Of course, something there always going to be there.
Of course,
because it's my hero, It's
Me too.
But it's something always going to come out that remind his ideas or whatever. But I never ever thought about to try to sound like Dizzy, because that I don't believe that gonna work. No.
You took his inspiration and did your own Arturo.
You have to create your own soup. Yeah. You have to cook your own soup and put ingredients of many things, because Dizzy always. The question that they ask you about improvisation. Dizzy always mentioned improvisation like painting a picture. He said, improvise is like you have a brush and you have a palette, a pen, and you have to know how to mix the color and where to put a little more emphasis. You may be more intensity in this kind of color over here and create a little shadow over there and create.
Right, but first a great painter has to be able to paint a straight line, or
of course,
like the technique of knowing how to paint has to come first before you know how to do that. So there's a relationship.
I read a book many years ago. There was a competition of artists. They have a blank canvas all over the thing, and everybody have colors and pencils and brushes and all those things. And that guy, everybody was working hard because they have a certain amount of time to finish the thing. That's a true story. And that guy was outside there smoking a cigarette, talking to friends, and everybody say, "Man, it's a big award. They're gonna you're gonna get a chunk big of money. What are you doing? I said, it's okay, I have some time. Okay, bottom line, he waited until the last minute. And the last minute he came there, and everybody said, man, and because he got some reputation to be good. And then he took the brush, and he did like this. He did a circle, just that. And he threw the brush, and he said, go and check it out, go and measure that. He won. Because he did like this, a perfect circle, which is extremely difficult to do it.
Very, very.
But you throw them out, they call it a free hand, I mean a flying hand, you know. What? Boom! Throw the thing and say, go and measure that.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, well, talking about the sometimes simplicity means a lot.
The idea of learning to do anything well, right, takes attention to learning the foundation and the basics. If you skip over the foundation and the basics, I have guys coming into my studio. I love to teach, and they're professionals. Like they've been playing, you know. They might be 40 years old, they might be 50 years old, and they sort of hit a wall. Like a long time, they hit a wall. They go, I don't know what to practice. I don't know what to do. I feel like I want to do all this stuff that I hear people doing, and but I don't know what I'm doing. But it's a hard thing to do, because what they forgot to do is a lot of stuff in the beginning that would
the foundation.
The foundation that would lead them to these. But what happens is when you just accept yourself and think that it's good enough, right? And you get into a habit of just doing that over years and years. You might be actually very good at doing a few things very well, and nothing wrong with any of it. It's all okay. But the idea of paying attention to the basics will give you the ability to keep going. To keep going. Yeah. If you know how to get a great
it's
sound,
like a building. When the foundation is solid and is well built, you can build on top of that and gonna be firm and straight.
Yeah. The music is funny. It's like it's subjective when people listen to it, what they like, but there's a real objective reality to how to play correctly and how to play in tune and how to get a good sound. But when people have in their head an inflated idea of what they sound like, and it's too hard work to do this, it's too hard work to do this, it's too hard work to do that, they want to do the easy thing, right? Then that causes like frustration, ultimately. So it's important to do it.
We got another 3 or 4 minutes. Let's play a little bit more.
You have a couple of questions too, if you
yeah, go ahead. Question.
Okay, Tony Lujan was asking a question about
Tony Lujan, hey Tony.
Hey man. Yeah.
What's your concept for playing Coltrane changes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Before you said that, Tony was the guy who taught me about those 3 words of Clarinet. I have to give him credit of imitate, emulate, create. Tony taught me that because he was a very close friend of CT, and he played on his band for years.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. These questions are like huge questions, like how to answer them. You know, and when you want to try to play like anybody, try to get Coltrane changes are it's too hard to explain in a short amount of time. But take one element of what you're hearing and try to get it. It's like when I first tried to play Giant Steps, right? It's like I heard Train do a lot of right, like the pentatonic thing. So can you play pentatonic scales all up and down the horn from any key, right? Because it's obviously needed to do those kind of shapes. Yeah. So when you think about the specific things that Train is doing to be able to play Giant Steps, then you take 1 or 2 things and try to nail that. Try to really focus on getting it clean, And then you take another one or two things and get that clean. And then you over and over again, repetition, that's the way it happens. It doesn't happen, any other way, really.
You know who was hip in those kind of things too? Woody Shaw, man. Woody was something.
Freddie Hubbard loved Woody Shaw.
Oh man, Woody was something else. He was something else. He was the guy who invented all those kind of things I trying to do sometimes. All those kind of things. That's Woody, man. He is the guy who invented all those things.
So that's the interesting. We don't have a lot of time, but it would be interesting how that you incorporated those ideas that you heard and got it together technically on the instrument. Because that's basically what Tony was talking about.
Yeah,
it's like Coltrane changes, right? What does that mean?
That
right?
We
have
could,
to get inside
you know what?
of
we
what the
could
player
talk
is.
about that for ages because a lot of people in the jazz business, they're looking for a shortcut. And I'd always said, guys, I'm sorry, shortcut doesn't exist in this business. You have to spend and pay your dues and practice like crazy. The foundation, the basic things, you have to eat upside down the urban book and the Clark and this and the closet and the clarinet, all those kind of things. You start what I mean? And what's the main book for saxophone and the classical thing?
The classical
Marcel Moulet?
Moulet? There's a lot of different books. There's Marcel Moulet.
Marcel Moulet was one of them. Yeah. Okay. Probably is the synonym, of equivalent of urban for the...
Yeah, there's Cargalaire, there's the universal method, which is, I hated that. I mean, there's a lot of things. But these books are only good if you relate it to music.
Oh man, we have 2 minutes?
2 minutes?
Eh?
Yep, 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Last 2 minutes. That was a good trailer, ending. He did.
I'm sure that's in the urban book.
That's a good train ending. And then he repeat the same thing in one octave.
Yeah.
Okay. Dustin, please play it again. The thing. Can you play it again? Can you play the fanfare again?